Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the part 2 of the worldwide celebration Beyond Space and Time campaign, and basically get a good idea of how many stones you can get, and also of course the content that is coming to DBZ Dokkan Battle. So there's been no change in the login bonus. Realistically speaking, it's relatively the same. There is a new daily login bonus for the next week, which will give you the possibility of earning up to 7 stones per day. Generally speaking here, it's difficult to measure how many players will get, but I would say you should get lucky at least once. So I like to work on the premise of around 12 stones. Sometimes you can hit luck and get like over 20, over 30. It's just going to depend on how lucky you get. Now, of course, in terms of the Part 2 missions for the 50 special summon tickets, I've already covered those, so if you need any more help with those, you can click the link on the top right hand corner. And of course there are some other game modes that I've covered, like the burst modes already. So the burst modes, Easy A, have all been covered, so hopefully that gives you guys some decent level of content to take a look at. But yes, there are also the worldwide celebration missions for part 2. Pretty straightforward. There are some special conditions for using Future Saga units and Battle of Fate units. Generally speaking, the missions are not too difficult, and you get an Easy A today as well, so you should have pretty much everything you need to get all the missions done. A lot of them are super rudimentary, and they'll drop around 15 stones as well, so it's all pretty good stuff. You can find these missions under the King Kai tab, of course, and they'll be updated in the same section where the part 1 missions will still be available. So even if you're only starting now, or you're only joining Dokkan now, then you still have the chance of obtaining all the rewards, so not a problem. So in terms of basically everything else, the content is where things get a little bit interesting. So we obviously have some updates to content from part 1, as well as also the arrival of some new events, which is always pretty interesting. There's been an update to the In Search of the Light of Hope daily growth mission, and there's also been some updates to the social media campaigns, which will give us some more stones. There's also been some update to the co-op missions as well, so it's all pretty good stuff. Now, before we continue really getting into the events, the co-op missions are obviously there, 10 stones, and these you will just complete passively whilst playing the game. So you shouldn't really struggle too much to complete these, but yeah, it's going to be entirely up to the pace at which you do it, and there's a really cool title you can earn as well, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, but pretty straightforward stuff. Obviously now you can still earn that with part 3, so don't worry too much. And in terms of content, we got quite a bit of new updates, so we'll definitely be taking a look at those. Now, in terms of the new content, there's been updates to the 2 story events, and there's also been some new challenge modes or challenge stages that have been added in, and of course there are some new burst modes. So as you can see, there's a fair chunk of content dropping now. We have the Easy A for Int Gohan, we have the link leveling stages, not that they're strictly content, but they are pretty cool for upgrading your units. We have a burst mode coming out for the Saiyan Father and Son Dokkan event. We have updates to the 2 story missions, to the Mortal Will and Divine Wrath event, and to the Red Zone for Dismal Future, which is pretty cool. Then we also have an IDBH stage that's been added in, and so far that's pretty much it. Remember, part 2 is a bit shorter than part 1, and also we are going to be getting new units that will be popping up next week, and along with that probably a buffer bonus of content, so just keep that in mind. So the 2 story mission updates are pretty straightforward. 2 new stages have been added to the Super Memorial Warrior Trunks event, and also to the Trunks Future Saga event. So both of those got pretty nice little updates to make it pretty damn straightforward. Now, outside of that, basically, to cut a long story short, we also have the Extreme Z battle. It's not up at this moment, but it will be up probably by the time you see this video, of course, and that will be for Into Future Gohan, which I've probably covered already and shown you how to complete it. So pretty cool stuff. I have a link to it in the top right hand corner. Then we have the Paths of Good and Evil. This is a link leveling event, one stage specific to Future Saga units and the other stage specific to any units really. You can run any unit, so it's not specific at all actually. A couple stones there, but nothing too crazy. There are some cool missions though that give you some Kais as well, so it's a pretty cool event overall, and I think it could be really fun. So yeah, that's obviously there, and we can take a look at that in a bit more detail. And of course as well, when we're looking at everything, something also to consider is the fact that it's just a way to boost your character's power, which I think at the end of the day is really quite good. Then we have the Divine Wrath and Mortal Will event. This has been updated with 3 new stages, which is cool, and some super enemy stages, which is also really cool, because that means now people have an excuse to bust out old Zamasu's domain, which is really awesome. Then of course we have Ultimate Red Zone, a new stage has been added in there, and we'll see how difficult that will be as well. And yeah, outside of that, that's kind of covers everything. IDBH versus Trunks has also been added in, and so in general, there's a pretty good chunk of content that should keep you busy over the next couple days and for the weekend. So alongside that and checking out the new units, you should have a pretty decent time this weekend, hitting it up on Dokkan. And I think that covers pretty much everything we need to cover. The burst modes will obviously be up as well, but I can't really show you them. They are based on the Dokkan event for Vegeta and Trunks. So yeah, enjoy that. And that's pretty much it. Honestly speaking, not too much else really to focus on. Like I said, all of the events pretty much covered. One thing I will say is, of course, the banners. The banners for part 2 will be up around Wednesday. So you can keep your eyes out for that, but the information should drop tomorrow or the next day. But yeah, that's pretty much it from me. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and of course, as always, bye.